Any second. There we go. The recording started and we are off. And we are going to start with a bit of a screen share here. And there we go. Let me move this one out of the way over here. And we are going to start right here. I'm going to view this as a student so we see what you see. And here we go. Reminder right here that the class ends next Thursday, 2/27 at 10 p.m. It's important to note that 10 p.m. Time because anyone that's used to that 11:59 p.m. for getting that daily assignment in, of course, that's going to be cut off at 10 p.m. along with the class at 10 p.m. That's when IT starts shutting everything down. You won't be able to turn in anything after that. Okay, so here we are in week 3, and we are all the way down to here. The mock interview debrief. Some of you are having those interviews. After that interview, you will come in here. You will answer these questions. What questions were you asked? What did you learn from this experience? What did you gain from that? What would you change from it? Most people gain a lot from it. They find out what it was like when they were actually in that interview. Now, remember, when you go into that interview, you want to make sure you greet that interviewer by name, because if you were setting that up, you know who you're going to be interviewing with. Once you get into the interview, you want to make sure that you hand that resume over to the person that you're interviewing with so that they have that. And then when you sit down, you want your feet firmly on that floor. You want to have your arms on the armrest or in your lap. You don't want to be fidgeting. You want to look that person straight in the eye, and you want to be sitting upright. This way, when you're speaking, you are not mumbling. You want to have a smile as you talk. That's going to help you enunciate. That means you're going to be projecting your voice. You want to make sure you're speaking clearly, no slang. You want to be speaking properly. When you're answering your questions, you want to be sticking to the subject they are asking you about, to make sure that you are sticking with that. You're not wandering off on those questions, that you are, staying on point. That's very, you know, something you want to make sure you're with. If you're asked about things that are not your strongest areas, if they say, what's your biggest weakness? It's okay to have a weakness. Things you can do to get around that is you say, my weakness is this, but I know I'm going to improve, once I am working for you, things like that. You let them know that these are areas you are improving on. There's always room for improvement. We all have our weaknesses, and we grow within the companies that we are hired into. So those are things that we want to emphasize. When asked, tell me a little bit about yourself. You did those elevator pitches. This is what they're there for, and this is why we do them. You don't have to fumble, mumble, and be confused about them. This is why they are there. So we continue on with that. So that's how you get through. And you do this mock interview after you have your interview. So this debrief is afterwards. So until you have that, you can't do this. Okay. So, and I'll be checking to see what times you have those interviews so that I'm aware when you should be doing it. Okay. So the LinkedIn profile, you'll be going into linkedin.com. You'll create a profile. If you already have one, check your about section. Do you have a picture up there? It's great to have a profile picture. Some people don't. You're more likely to get hits if you do. In that about section, again, this is where you put that elevator pitch. This is where you put in that about section. Also a great place to put that brand statement that you put together. That is a perfect place for that, so that you have that there. In the education, make sure you update it to include STC. So you put your expected graduation date in there. You don't say currently a student. You say expected graduation date in there. Your experience should have your work experience, just like on your resume, places that you worked. Your skills, list all your hard and soft skills that you can find those in there and list those. So each section can have up to 20 points. Just having those sections does not guarantee 20 points. They need to be filled out completely. So each section up to 20 points for a total of up to 80 points. It's not an automatic 80 points just because you have them. They do have to be complete. You do get 20 points. That's guaranteed for having the profile. Now, once you have that profile, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to linkedin.com. Once you are in here and you go into your profile here, you're going to go me and you're going to go into your view profile. And underneath your view profile here, you're going to look at contact information. Right here, you're going to copy this. Right here, you're going to copy that link. You're going to come back into the assignment, and down here, inside here, that's where you're going to paste in. That is going to allow me to connect to you easily so that I can check everything out. I need to be able to connect to your LinkedIn so that I can see you, or you can send invites, but I need this information in here. Okay. That's how I'm going to check to make sure that everything is in there. If I can't connect on and see you, I can't grade you. All right. So that's how you're going to get into there. Then this we went over the debrief. Now tomorrow, the career plan went over this. This is where you're going to put in those short-term goals to match up with those long-term goals. The sheets in here, we went over that earlier. I'll go over it again tomorrow. So that's in there. And then, of course, the other thing under week 3, this mock interview thank you letter, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Your headshots, optional 5 points. This should be from your shoulders to the top of the head. This is not a full body picture. It is a headshot for a reason. It is from here up and doesn't have to be fancy anything, but it needs to be professional. The reason why you have these headshots, this is what should go on your LinkedIn profile. You don't have to have it there, but that's what you're doing for the 5 points to go on to that final exam. All right, there we go. We got that. So now we're going to keep moving. And we're going to talk about networking. We've talked about this in the class before. Got my closed captioning on. That's becoming a default on here. Not sure exactly why. Set this up. Got my little smiley face. And away we go. So we're going to talk about the importance of professional networking, etiquette that you need to use while networking. We're going to briefly go over LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. That part's kind of a repeat in here, so we're kind of going to breeze right through those. But like I said, if you are not networking, you are not working. Okay, networking is talking with people. Okay, bottom line, it's talking with people. And it's establishing relationships, meaning you're connecting up with them, you're getting to know them. And it's going to serve 2 purposes. It's going to lead to potential career or job opportunities in here. So potential career or job opportunity. And what we mean by that, they're going to give you information you can use to grow your career or possibly get you a job. And we all want that, right? We all want that. So a professional network is going to consist of people who support you, okay, in your career or other business endeavors. This can be investing. It can be moving into a new business that you're creating, not just in your career. That's what a professional network is. Now, friends and family can be part of that professional network as long as they're supporting this. They actually know your career. Okay. Friends and family don't necessarily know you on a professional level. They need to be able to know you on a professional level to be considered part of your professional network. And they need to be serious about it in case others are asking in relationship to that. They need to be able to answer things seriously for you. They don't need to be messing that up. And I know they don't intend to. Okay. Now, informational interviewing. Remember, we have all done one of these so far, right? We all got that. So informational interviewing is a networking strategy to interview and ask for advice, okay, and direction from a professional, okay? This is what you did. You talked to somebody in your field. You learned from them. You got advice. This is people, or these are people in your field. They give you direct information and learning from it. If you do it correctly, this is stuff that will make your career go zoom, okay? Zoom, 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 straight up. If you're not doing this, you're wasting a valuable information and opportunity. These people will pull you in and push you higher. Okay. Some people don't take advantage of that. That's their choice. Okay. Now, this is something. Resist becoming self-centered. That means you only take information in. You don't help others. Anybody know somebody like that? They take everything you give them, but they never give back. We know these people. Some people just come in, they take everything and they tune out. Okay. Any chance you get a chance to help others, you need to do this. Anytime you can reciprocate, that's what that means. Give back. You need to, and that's going to help you grow. It's going to grow your brand, and people will know this and they will help you even more. You become self-centered, you're going to get this. You're going to become rejected. And your brand's going to become tarnished. And remember, people learn about you before you get there. They're going to find out, and it's going to become harder and harder to get placed. Okay. Now, this is very critical here. Networking begins at pre-career state. That means it happens now, before you start. If you're not working at networking, you're missing out. So who's helping you now? Your instructors, your school. We get calls all the time. Do you know somebody who is ready? Okay. I give recommendations all the time. I know people who are ready. I know they're going to interview correctly. I know they're going to do this correctly. I also have people call, hey, do you know who this person is? Do you know who that person is? The thing is with networking, you only push people who are going to improve your brand as well. Your brand, you have to protect it. If somebody calls and they want a recommendation and the person they're asking about is going to possibly tarnish your brand, you're not going to give that recommendation. Same thing with everybody. You're only going to recommend people who are going to push your brand as well. You need to begin networking now. It's a permanent part of socialization. Everyone does this to some point, and your network's going to evolve over time. People who are in your network now, they're not going to be there in the future. Not that anything's wrong, but your career's going to change. And it's constantly doing this. Your career is not one and done. You don't do a resume once and then you're never going to do it again. Because a lot of you, once you're in your job, your career, opportunities are going to open up and they're going to say, we need everybody's resume who's interested in this position. If you haven't kept up with your resume, you're automatically out. We have to keep these things going. Okay. Now, I know that there are things going around at some of the campuses that you don't need to do this. Okay. People think that, but it's not what's happening right now. Guarantee it. Face-to-face networking begins anywhere that involves meeting individuals or groups of people. You do it all the time. You talk to your coworkers, you talk to people at the school, you talk to people on the job, anywhere meeting people. That's face-to-face networking. You do it. It's not a complicated thing. It's natural. And you initiate a conversation about career topics, anything about your career. But before you begin all this, consider business cards. We call them contact cards. They can be physical or they can be digital. They can be on your phone. There's apps galore and you tap phones, boom, you got their information, you got yours. Okay. Think about things you want to know and ask. People are very reluctant to do any form of preparation. I don't know why. We've got the stigma that there is something wrong with doing preparation. I'm just going to do it on the fly. Okay, it's your income, it's your money, it's your livelihood. You are welcome to do it the way you want, but a little bit of preparation is done once and you use it forever. This is an example of a business card. You have a name, you have the position you want. Okay, this is the position you want that goes there. Okay, don't put student, the position you want. You have your number. Okay, you've got your email address, your LinkedIn account, if you've got a decent one. Any other accounts you have would go here. Right here, this. That is your brand statement. One statement to describe you on the back side, right there on the back. You can put your skills or you can put that elevator pitch. Okay. You can put that on there because it's double-sided. You want your name in front of those people as much as you can. You're advertising yourself. There's a reason why you do these things, and you want to be the one they remember. You get their business card because the reason why you want theirs, because you're going to send them a thank you email. And when you send them that thank you email, boom, you're going to attach that resume. You're making it easier for them to not forget you. Okay. Now, always use etiquette. Okay. Good manners. That's what etiquette is. Good manners. Okay. You want to make sure that you are using proper language, no slang. Okay. Proper language. Speak properly. Open up. Don't mumble. This is a big thing. People need to be able to hear you. You have valuable information. They need to hear you. Okay. And it's okay to let them know, I am looking for a job. Do you have one available? Perfectly acceptable. Okay. Now, when you're doing networking, when it's in person, dress appropriately. Now, appropriately means for the setting. A lot of times you might be meeting, if you're going to one of these social events, it could be outdoors. It could even be at a sporting event. Dress appropriately for the occasion. Okay. If it's an occasion that you're networking and jeans are acceptable, do jeans. If shorts are acceptable, do shorts. Think as what is appropriate for the location for the networking. Okay, everybody got that? You're dressing for the occasion that you're going to. If it's at a certain time, you don't need to get there more than 15 minutes early. Make sure your phone's silent. You don't want to be talking to somebody and they could be potentially saying, hey, why don't you come in for an interview? And you have to go, excuse me, and you're trying to silence it. They may walk away. Okay. Maintain that eye contact. Again, no slang or unprofessional language. Offer and request a business card and send that follow-up email. Okay. These things work. Okay. Anybody ever hear of Honda, little car company? My nephew is an engineer there, and he was applying and applying and applying, not getting anywhere. He sent his resume to me. His resume was fine. Nothing wrong with it. All I did was rearrange the skills and change some of the wording so that it used more of uh, the proper words that he should, and sent it back to him. He applied. Honda called him. If anybody is familiar with the Honda Civic, he helps design the Honda Civic. That's what he does as an engineer. That resume got his foot in the door. I did not get him the job. It got his foot in the door. These things work. Using keywords, doing these steps work. Getting your foot in the door works. Okay. So there's a method to the madness, and this is why we do these things. Online networking. Okay. There are some big benefits with doing online networking. But make sure that everything is connecting correctly beforehand. Always make sure that you're positive and professional. Okay. If there's a camera involved, please again make sure of what's in the background. Make sure that you're not doing anything negative. Even if you disagree with people, sometimes it's best to just bite your tongue and let them go on and you go on your way. Okay. If you're trying to reach them by email and they're not responding, don't keep emailing them. Get the message. They're not interested. You move on. This part here, this is always one that people miss on the final. Don't just invite strangers to join into the network of people that you've made friends with online. Okay. Get to know the person outside of the group, find everything about them, talk to the group, then invite them in. Okay. Don't just invite people to join your online network because that person might not be a good fit. Okay. LinkedIn, we just went over that as to how you're going to set that up. Um, so you'll make sure that you are filling in all those components. Twitter, we went over yesterday, so I don't need to go through that again. You caught that all yesterday. And Instagram, we went over that as well. Okay. So tonight, I want you to think about this. How does the reputation of a company influence your decision on where you'd like to be employed? Do their ethics determine where you do or do not apply? Now think about this because where you might work today when you go to change positions or change jobs, that may affect what future employers decide. Do they want you? Do they not want you? All these things come into play. There is no right or wrong answer to this question. It's completely up to you. Some people don't care about a company's reputation. Some people, it does not matter. Their ethics may not matter. They may want them to align with their own. This decision is completely up to you, your choice, and it may or may not limit to where you might be able to find employment. But these are the things that we have to think about when we make our choices. And so these are things that affect you when you go through the job selection. All right. So that's where we are. And tomorrow is the last day of the week. Now, then on Friday, I will be opening up that final week for anybody who wants to get a jump ahead. All right. So that is everything. And we will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.